Please, let's welcome Mr. Simon Klein, a PhD student specializing in bee cognition, and Mrs. Andrea Barron, a professor in the Department of Biological Science at Macquarie University. What can you tell us about CCD?
10 years ago, beekeepers in the U.S. raised the alarm that thousands of their hives were mysteriously empty of bees.
And what followed was global concern over a new phenomenon: colony collapse disorder, in other words, CCD. To make things worse, we are also losing many of our populations of wild bees, a situation that may have tragic consequences for us as well as them.
10 years after the initial alarm, what is the current status of the world's bee populations?
Since the alarm was first raised, many countries have created new monitoring methods to judge the status of their bees.
So, you can have much more data on bee populations, can't you?
That's right, although monitoring them is still a complex process.
Beekeepers can tolerate up to 15% losses of colonies over winter, but the U.S. is massively above this figure, having lost 28.1% of colonies over the 2015-16 winter.
It's clear that bees in the United States are still struggling, isn't it?
Yes. Canada, by contrast, reported 16.8% losses.
This looks better, doesn't it?
Absolutely, but it's still above the level of losses at which beekeepers can easily restock.
Honeybees are not the only bees that we should care about. Wild bees are vital pollinators too, since some plants are pollinated by only one wild bee species. Between 2008 and 2013, wild bee diversity in the U.S. dropped by 23%.
Oh, that isn't good news, is it?
Not really.
Do you understand why this is happening?
It's a complex problem with many causes. Bees have to travel large distances to collect pollen and nectar. They need finely tuned senses, spatial awareness, learning, and memory. Anything that damages such skills can make bees struggle to find food or even get lost.
Because of this, bee populations are very vulnerable to what we call sublethal stressors, factors that don't kill the bees directly but can affect their behavior. For example, diesel fumes and some pesticides. In addition, apart from the climate change, bees have to deal with pests, viruses, and predators that have been spread around the world as a side effect of international trade.
Bees have a huge impact on our food supply, as they are the most important pollinators of many of the fruits and vegetables we eat. Dying bees scream a message to us that they cannot survive in our current agricultural and urban environments.
What can be done?
At a global level, to preserve our bees, we must improve the environments in which they collect food. Every small action can make a difference.
Also, planting flower borders with bee-friendly flowers in gardens can provide food for both wild and domestic bees. People should reduce or eliminate the use of herbicides or pesticides when gardening,
Another tempting option is to buy local honey.
which often has a more distinctive flavor than mass-produced, doesn't it?